What's up YouTube? Ryan, aka The Lucky Schmuck, back here once again with another video for you. Today, I want to talk to you about breeding for profit. Behind me is the 125 gallon that we got a few weeks ago for $100. Now, believe it or not, there's actually some fish in there right now, some pretty big fish. Later this week, I'm gonna put out a video with an update on this tank, talk about what I've done to it so far, what the plans are. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. Today's video is going to be about breeding for profit. So let's get started taking a look at the 10-gallon tank that I have red ram's horn snails in, as well as blue neocaridina. So I wanted to give you guys an update on some of the tanks out here. If you remember the last update, in one of the tanks I got some red ram's horn snails off of Reddit. Some red ram's horn snails. I just noticed them breeding the other day. So hopefully soon we should have some ram's horn snail babies. I got 3 of them, and then I noticed some eggs in here, and oh my gosh. So as you can see, we've had quite a few ram's horn snail babies. This is something that I was expecting, I planned for, and as you'll see, I have a way to utilize these snails, and it's not going to overwhelm me. You'll also notice that there are actually quite a few little baby neocaridina blue shrimp. A lot of them appear to be pretty dark. Like I said, I don't really know. These, I guess, are velvet blues. They're not really the blue jellies that are lighter, although I'm sure some of them are a little lighter. But this tank right now is just full of life. For those of you that are new, this is a 10-gallon planted tank that has, like I said, blue neocaridina shrimp, as well as red ram's horn snails. There's also a pleco, a bristlenose pleco. It's a super red. He's still a baby. He or she is still a baby. It is filtered by a sponge filter, which I turned off for the video. There are plenty of plants, moss balls, etc. I'm gonna do a plant update here probably in the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. But I really wanted to focus on just all of the snails I got going on here. They're feasting on some green beans right now. If you can tell, they kind of just, there we go, focus. They just swarm pretty much any kind of food that I put in here. And this morning it was green beans, which is a pretty common food that I feed in my fish room. There's some more of those shrimp. They're kind of scurrying about. I am slightly worried about the snails outcompeting the shrimp for food, so I have been kind of really feeding this tank a lot. There's the bristlenose pleco. He's kind of hiding behind there. He's probably the most skittish of all my bristlenose plecos. I have quite a few, and this guy seems to really just always get scared whenever I'm around. But hopefully I'll find some footage of him out and I can maybe add it in. These snails right here just on top of a piece of green bean. So it's been about another 2 weeks or so, and as you can see, the snail population has really started to explode. But also, if you take a look, some of the shrimps have as well. Now, I started with just 12 adult shrimp, and I noticed that some were buried just a few weeks after I got them. And if you notice, we already have a few generations of shrimp. So with these shrimp, I paid about $30 for a dozen, and I would estimate I already have, there's some 2 back there as well. Actually, that's a reflection. So we have 2 back there, not back there. Those are the same 2. But I would say there's at least a few dozen now. You can see one on the glass. There he is right there. Like I said, a few different sizes, at least a few batches. I'm sure we'll lose some more will hatch. There's one of the adults here. But even though I won't be selling them for that much, maybe a few dollars a piece, you can see how in just a matter of months, I've got these shrimp less than 3 months ago. And the key to me has been setting up a tank with plenty of rocks. If you notice that there's the whole back of the tank is pretty much covered with rocks, with the foreground being open and more sandy, I guess you could say. This is an idea, I don't know if it's got a name, but an idea I stole from a friend of mine, Chris. He's actually a guy who I'm babysitting tanks for. Not sure if you guys have seen that video yet, but that's a really neat story that I'm gonna share with you guys here soon. And definitely subscribe if you haven't, because it's a really cool story about how we met and how we both helped each other out. And like I said, this tank, the way it is scaped, it was definitely an idea from him. You notice the shrimp here. The shrimp are definitely coexisting with the snails. They're definitely competing for resources in terms of food. I feed a lot of green beans. This tank, it's a breeding for profit tank, but I think it's also really cool to look at. As you can see, the snails are just all over this green beans. In terms of the snails too, there's not a lot of profit in the snails, but I bought these snails originally off of Reddit, and I think I paid $2 or $3 a snail, and I bought 3 snails. Of those 3 original snails, actually 1 passed away. So all the snails you see here came from 2 snails. I'm not gonna try to sell these a ton. If there's some local people that want them, I'll definitely sell them for a few bucks a piece, or not even, a few for a buck actually. But I'm also gonna use them as food. They can also be used as a food source. We have a loach in the fish room now, so that cuts down on food costs. So there's a little tiny shrimp right there. See if we can zoom in. I couldn't zoom in on that shrimp, but here's another shrimp literally riding a ram's horn snail. So we have a shrimp riding a ram's horn snail. Looks like he's picking clean his back. So these definitely work in symbiosis. Like I said, they both compete for the same food. I'm going to be taking a bunch of these snails out here because it definitely is the snails, or I'm sorry, it definitely is the shrimp that are more of the for-profit. I'd love to see even more shrimp. Even though there's a ton here, I want to see even more and more shrimp come out of this tank. And I'm considering even moving it to a 20-gallon long to give them more area to breed and more rocks to hide in, etc. Seeing as how my goal right now isn't to make a ton of money in terms of, profit. I want to be able to pay for the fish room, help feeding, buy new things, etc., etc. This is a great way to enjoy a tank, have it kind of scape the way you want it, also kind of look, pretty decent. Maybe not a 100% show tank, but I think it's a pretty cool looking tank with the way it's planted. But it also is a really neat breeding for profit tank. And like I said, it's a 10-gallon tank, so it doesn't take up much space, no matter how big your fish room, or even if you don't have a full fish room, no matter how much space you're working with. So these shrimp are really some of my favorites. The Neocardina in general, but these blues are just really kind of caught my eye, and they seem to be breeding just as well, if not better, than the cherries for me. There's a little tiny guy on this rock right here. But definitely I would recommend, get rolling with some fancier feeder snails like ram's horns. They breed like crazy. I got the red variant, so that way, they're a little different than the standard browns. And shrimp and cherry shrimp are awesome, but my recommendation is go with a blue shrimp or another color, because usually they're a little more rare, and they go for a little more money, but they're just as easy to breed, the exact same species. So maybe a little more money up front, but in the long run, definitely worth it, because you're gonna have something a little more different than what's in your area, and you're gonna be able to get a little more for it. So I hope you guys were able to take something away, and subscribe if you haven't to see updates on this, and not only other breeding for profit ideas, but just fish keeping for profit, because there's more ways to make money in this hobby than just breeding. So, cultivating plants, breeding, but also just, looking for deals. There's a lot of different ways in order to keep your hobby cheap, and I want to help you guys do it. Thanks for sticking with me. Check you guys out next time.